All right. You are listening to an episode of Transparency and Merit. I'm Joe, and that's the dude with the coronavirus mask, Brian, and we're going to talk a little bit about this communist virus,
Yes. I'm
so-called.
doing it because I can't stand your breath. It's horrible.
I
Even
just
through
had
the
some
screen.
chips, so it's probably a
Yeah.
good move.
But let me just, this is the communist virus. I don't know how long I can have it. I don't know how nurses and doctors do this thing. It's really uncomfortable.
Let's call it COVID-19, not Wuhan or China or, coronavirus. Let's call it the COVID-19. Kyle, I think that'll bring us all together. Can we do that? Come up with a common name?
You know what, Brian?
No.
Doing a lot of things, but changing the naming convention for viruses that's gone on for the last 100 years. The point of origin has always helped people understand which virus it is, and the Chinese Communist Party has asked the world, or actually really propagandized the world with this COVID-19. If we start naming diseases after numbers, we're never going to remember what kind of disease it is.
I understand. I want to make sure we don't make it. We don't take it to a country level. You know what I mean? Because this is a global fight. You would agree with that, right?
We call things West Nile virus. Why don't we call it the Wuhan flu?
Wuhan flu.
We can call it whatever we want to call it. I'm not going to call it what the Chinese government wants me to call it.
Fair enough. Kyle Bass, we do appreciate you.
So there you go. And you seem to you seem to be ruffling some feathers. You've gone into YouTube.
I have been.
You've left comments to people about the communist virus, and people took umbrage with this. So what kind of blowback are you getting from the communist virus on YouTube?
Well, I got a few things, and I'm taking this off. This thing is really uncomfortable, by the way. I'm going to take a little drink of water. But I can't,
Dawn, and we got Debbie and Mandy. All right.
Yes. So JP does have a better looking face than me. I am a fat. By the way, the day of fasting is not going very good. I did have some sugar today, and I had those gelatin, I forget what they call it, but I had a little bit of it, and it's like, I'm going to try again tomorrow, folks. And we'll see how it goes.
The ongoing debate.
Yeah.
It's the battle.
It is an ongoing battle. And it just is. But I have been on Twitter, and I've been just getting into a few tiffs with people.
Okay.
And this gentleman, I said, instead of the Wuhan Chinese virus, or the COVID-19, why don't we just call it the communist virus? And this guy says, China isn't communist, so... and then he goes again, China isn't communist. The workers do not own the means of productions. Know the meaning of words before you use them next time. And how do I respond to him? I said much of the totalitarianism that America fought during the Korean War is still in place. Totalitarianism that is rooted in communism. And then he said, And then he said, I'm backtracking here, guys. I kind of messed up. Like I mess up all the time on Twitter, and people point it out to me, by the way. But China isn't communist. The workers don't. Okay. The workers do not own the means of production in China. Workers owning the means of production is a key to what makes a communist state. China is not communist. Learn words or delete your account. And I just said to him basically, your authoritarianism doesn't go very well on me. You can't tell me what to do. I can be as ignorant as you think I am on my own account, unless, of course, Twitter basically deletes it, which would be awful. And I think now that we're probably going to get this bailout, I think that these social media companies cannot restrict conservatives for many reasons. Joe, no, don't do it. It's not smart. Just because
it's a pretty good video.
It is a good video, but we don't want to get. Did you? She didn't take anything off yet, did she?
No. On my screen, she did though.
Okay, but yeah, because we can't.
Good video.
We can't basically. We can't have that, But then he just ended with show your ignorance. And I basically, let me see how many, I got a lot of these replies, by the way. 4 more replies. I basically asked the question, basically people were, there are a lot of people who are complaining that, the United States is doing this $1 trillion bailout and has never given black people in America slave reparations and reparations for Jim Crow and the other stuff. And you can go on a whole, I wonder, maybe I'll do a whole show, because I have to study the issue a little bit about why that hasn't happened and why other groups, because it is kind of curious for me, why other groups like the Japanese have been given money and blacks have not. Just a little thoughty poo. And I did ask, did the black folks in Brazil get reparations for slavery? Because there were far more black slaves in Brazil than there were in America. And he said, I thought we weren't talking about Brazil. And we got into a whole pissing contest to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And then a Hebrew Israelite kind of jumped in. And I mentioned how I see them on every street corner in America throwing out profanity.
On my Facebook timeline,
yes,
I've got some Asian friends, and I found it interesting that one in particular was really angry with people using the term Asian virus or Chinese virus.
Do we know? Do I know him?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think you know. It's a woman. You don't know her, but it's it's a good friend of mine, and I understand where I don't. In this particular case, I found it odd, and I'll tell you why. But I think I would do that off the air. But because it's a friend, and I didn't expect to see it on my timeline, and it popped up. Somebody was kind of upset about it, and so I can understand that perspective, but I don't know. What you think it's a good thing to be able to, you want to be
To
able
be able to say that, I mean, I think it's a non-issue at this point in time when Americans are suffering.
Mhm.
This kind of political correctness is really kind of childish, to be honest with you.
Break anxiety. The death toll.
Oh, let me get this link really quick. Copy. So I could show it here. Let's see.
Someone is falling asleep on my show. They're saying that our
Yeah, because you're terrible right now.
really.
Yes.
Well, maybe I am.
Here, because you're starting to hear the Republicans, especially Trump calling it the Wuhan or the Chinese coronavirus. They're looking for someone to blame.
Concern is growing this morning over an outbreak of a new SARS-like virus in China. At least 6 people have died from the Wuhan coronavirus. The Wuhan coronavirus. The Wuhan coronavirus.
The 34-year-old ophthalmologist diagnosed Saturday with the Wuhan coronavirus.
Wuhan virus.
The Wuhan coronavirus.
The Wuhan coronavirus. What more can you tell us about the similarities or differences between SARS and the Wuhan coronavirus?
The Wuhan coronavirus.
The Wuhan coronavirus in China.
The Wuhan coronavirus.
The Wuhan coronavirus. And the Wuhan coronavirus.
Wuhan coronavirus.
Fears continue to grow over the outbreak of the Wuhan coronavirus.
Wuhan coronavirus.
The Wuhan coronavirus.
The Wuhan coronavirus.
We have new information about how the Wuhan coronavirus is spread.
Tying coronavirus to China and Chinese people isn't just a racist dog whistle. It's a whole racist orchestra. It's a mighty, mighty racist bass tone.
I hear Stephen Miller in this foreign virus setting up travel bans for the outside invasion of the disease. That's not the way.
The Chinese coronavirus that they've been
that's
calling
not
the first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus.
The Chinese coronavirus.
This is coming as the Chinese coronavirus.
China's coronavirus outbreak.
China's coronavirus.
Outbreak anxiety. The death toll nearly doubles in China's coronavirus outbreak.
China's coronavirus.
Just how bad is China's coronavirus crisis?
China's coronavirus outbreak.
China's coronavirus outbreak.
China's coronavirus outbreak.
China's coronavirus.
China's coronavirus. China's coronavirus.
China's coronavirus.
Concerns about the China coronavirus.
It's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia, to use that kind of term.
There you go.
You know, these people are some of the biggest buffoons. And I'm just, I don't know. To me, I'm surprised that they're able to have jobs. And I think people are going to be less tolerant of this kind of behavior. And it's getting more and more exposed. And I'm hoping that these social media platforms basically will change their tune. Just since we're all getting bailed out, And someone said, "Good thing I didn't give you sickness." And I'm glad that you didn't, because I'm diabetic, and whatever flu you have, I certainly do not want to get. So, yes. And people are saying that I'm boring.
Dear world, I hate you. Love, Brian.
I don't hate the world, or does the world hate me? You listen to things and you hear them. I think I've been blocked on Facebook because I really got inflammatory with somebody. And like I said, it's kind of sad to see. I mean, to me, it's almost like in this country that we're getting two different sets of information. And I kind of don't know what we're going to do about that. I don't know what's going to happen with the country. Right. By the way, I watched an interesting
thing. Did
thing.
you see anything that happened in the market today? They had a very excellent rebound.
Yes. Yeah.
People who are watching the news and absorbing this shit all day long, are making their lives miserable. There's no need for it. But so where were you going next with that? Because
it just came to mind, Joe, that a large portion of Americans who are on the air and control the media don't respect or have a clue on how and what average Americans think. And they one of the reasons why they want to be the only game in town is because when there are people on that expose them and mock them, they can't handle it, and they know that their ideas are not palatable next to the opposing ideas. Now, I may not be the one to do it because
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but you know what? That's why I don't listen to any media. Any media that's out there that's reaching millions of brains. You're definitely talking about controlled scripts, in my opinion. I don't think certain things are allowed to be put on the air. So that's why a lot of media sounds like they're saying the same thing over and over and over. Thank you, Debbie. Nice. Tweeted the show. She's making her bid to be today's chat room warrior, Debbie Daly. This stupid crap has scared. Yeah, right? You can't live that way. Belief in the virus is the virus, in my view. You don't want to sit around sucking up all the negative news stories that aren't there to help you. So you do have to go and find your own information. That does become tedious, and it's not, right now people are just not willing to do the work on that sort of thing. Chat people. Okay. The flu is worse than this fake virus. Okay. I'm with that. Believe that.
I don't know if I agree with that or not. I think the virus is real. And I'm hoping, I think the way that it's handled is not, I've never, by the way, seen, and maybe I was too young to remember it, but I've never seen the media spin on this virus, or the way the virus is handled by different political parties, like the way Donald Trump is handling the party. This virus, and the way
out of this whole coronavirus ordeal. And I am grateful that we have the great white hope, President Trump, in control at this time. I cannot think of another man living today that can handle situations the way that this man is doing. I appreciate how God has a way of always looking out for us. Think about it. We could have Lion Cricket Hillary in the White House. Can you imagine how devastating that would be if we had Hillary in the White House and this coronavirus situation came about? It would be over for America. One thing that's clear to all of Americans, even those Democrats who still voted, those people who are still voting for the Democrats, it's clear that the Democrats don't know anything about business. They don't know how to handle emergency situations. They have no clue. They have a government-free mentality. That's the only thing that they function on. They have no idea how to run a country. They can't run a city or a state or a community. If you doubt me, look at cities and states that can control. Pure ghetto. And the president is a perfect example so far. I don't know what tomorrow going to bring, but so far He is a perfect example of how a man, a father, a husband should run his household, and in return, run the country. Calm, collected, logical. In spite of the opposition, he doesn't cow down. In spite of the backbiting and all the lies and the games that's been played by the liberal media, there is something to being calm in life. That's why once you're born again, you overcome that overreaction state of being and you become calm. All things are done in stillness, not in overreaction. And the people who are waking up and you're now coming to that place of stillness and honesty, believe me, you're going to find out you have no friends. You have no friends because anyone who has anger is not your friend. So the president is working with a group of people, Republicans, right-o Republicans and Democrats alike, the media, who are not his friend. He doesn't have any friends because they'll turn on you at any point. You say one thing they don't like, they turn on you. You do one thing that they don't agree with, they'll turn on you. And the president understands that. He said one day, there are people in his administration or in his office or in the White House or something, I forgot the exact words, that don't agree with what he's doing.
All right. What do you got about, do you have any views?
Well, I mean, to a degree, I agree with a lot of what he said, but I don't think he's a calm man, and I'm certainly not a calm man. I'm an angry person myself. I wish I were more of a calm person. I wish I was less angry. I certainly wish I ate less, but that's not the case with me. I did have sugar today. This whole thing has gotten me probably a little bit on edge. I am and to me, what I saw from the Democrats and the Democrats in Congress, it did bother me. I felt that they were being very selfish, and the people that are, and there are people that support the Democrats and they support Nancy Pelosi. I just can't. I just don't understand it. It boggles my mind what people are thinking and what they're why they believe what they believe. I don't understand it. They seem to be so far off base. I'm surprised that they have a following. I mean, right now we are at a time of war. You know, this is a war type of thing, and this is affecting all of our lives. And for the Congress to do this at this time is really, really bad. And it's like we're stuck. Many of the people here are stuck in their homes. They're out of work. And they're playing games. And then our leadership is playing games. And they say, if you sneeze in public, go to jail, do not collect $200. That was from Debbie, by the way. I guess I kind of ranted off. But and there's just a large portion of Americans that do not get along. And there's demographic changes in the way they've been educated. I mean, you know, a lot of these people who are recent to this country, they show, you know, victimhood. You know, they're taught victimhood and other things, and there's certainly a backlash to it, and I think we're seeing in Europe, particularly in England, there's just a huge backlash to certain ideologies and thought. You know, Joe, I was listening to Tim Pool recently, and he was saying there are a lot of college professors that are teaching online, and they are afraid that their lectures are going to be given out to conservative news sources. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting story to check out.
Yeah. And like I said, I think we're all hoping for, for this thing to kind of blow over. This is, like I said, an unusually harsh response, and probably necessary. And someone said, with your bailout money, Trump wants to put through. So Acorn's Corner, is that how you say his name? He says, oh, by the way, you can call us, by the way, at area code 310-668-1969. Year of my birth. So if you want to call and debate, have you heard of this person before? Arkin's Corner or whatever?
Nope. But call in if you want. We have our toll-free listener line. Go ahead.
I have been, and by the way, also, someone finally commented on my YouTube. Sometimes on my free time, I will make comments on YouTube. I wonder if that makes me a marked person to a degree to get my channel demonetized. Maybe I should not do that.
Oh, hey, Wookie, what's up?
But I continually make like when I see people like Blair Imani, she did a page about homosexuality and Islam, which I thought was just a load of crap. But Eden replied with, people like you make me laugh. Celebrating pride here after making it illegal for us literally everywhere. I am from the Maldives, I don't even know what Maldives, or I can't even say that. That is 100% Muslim, and stones a stone's throw away from India, where we had laws imposed on us which we had to fight off. Homophobia is rampant in Asia, and also in the how do I say this name, Joe? Maldives, Maldives.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
You're a pleasure.
Yes.
I am a Muslim LGBTQA artist and activist who had my dance costume beaten off me by an Englishman who wants to remain the hero and needs me gone for good. Walking on eggshells here, and it makes me sick. Pathetic. England recently had an election. And you know what? The more information that I hear about the Muslim Maldives.
Thank you.
You know what?
That correction.
It's a country I've never heard of.
Maldives.
Joe might have visited there a few times.
Yes.
But I basically replied back to her mentioning the Asian Muslim grooming gangs in England roamed free for a long time. And the report, by the way, is still hidden from the public eyes.
Can you get up to the mic a little bit?
Oh.
Can't hear you too well.
Yeah. And it's, yeah. So, yeah, go ahead. So I mentioned, by the way, that Muslim Asian grooming gangs in England basically were raping girls as young as 9, and they've raped thousands of them. The media said nothing, and now the report that the that the police and the social welfare agencies have put out. They said it wouldn't do any good to make it public. Nonsense. Make it public. Make it public.
Yep. Certainly the child abduction, child sex stories have been one of, if not the top news-making stories around right now. Even with all this stuff going on, there's still a lot of the pedophilia coming out into making its appearance in news stories and such. So, yeah, let's come on out with it and make it public, and we'll see where that goes. Yes, that is true. Yes, Maldives are all right.
Yes.
Yeah. Debbie Daly doing it again.
Yeah. By the way, Joe, I listened to, and I tweeted it to you, I listened to an interesting, I don't know if it's a YouTube channel. It was on YouTube, but it was a podcast on a YouTube channel. The sound was really good, by the way, but he was giving interesting information about kind of the history of the Cold War. Mm-hmm. And a lot, some of our policies that are with us today are with us because of the Cold War. And I think there's a lot of intertwining of certain things. And I might do I'd want to study up on it. But what I've been hearing about the Cold War and how it affected America, not just American foreign policy, but also domestic policy, particularly our immigration, and then how our immigrants kind of have been weaponized against us, and the such. It's kind of interesting to see what will transpire. Are also the demographic changes are showing really that we're not getting along. Mm-hmm. I guess people say that diversity is our strength, but often diversity is a point of conflict. And how do we overcome this conflict? And how do we overcome this conflict? First of all, if we don't acknowledge it. Second of all, do we have standards and rules for everyone to apply? And will people accuse others of applying those standards unfairly? That's one of the things that the civil rights movement likes to do. It likes to always say that standards are applied unfairly, but a lot of times when you look deeper, it's not really the case, particularly in the criminal justice system. And now even, certainly the case of Starbucks, where they denied people the restroom because they didn't buy anything. And, the tables and stuff on a crowded day, it was crowded and they needed to use those tables for people to sit down. They accused them of racism. A lot of this cancel culture and outrage culture is done without any form of debate or discussion. It's really mobocracy and high action. It's one of the reasons why we need the internet and these social media companies kind of to curtail their censorship, because only one group is allowed to basically speak, and they're making policy. And we should have the right to discuss whether this policy is fair and just or not. And you can't do that without debate. And, you can't have, at some point, you got to have some compromise. Can't have everything you want. And that goes for me too, but it's like, right now we are at each other's throats. I mean, some of the things that I hear from people, they anger me. And it's almost like, shit, I'd like a divorce from a lot of these people. I mean, I wish I didn't live in this state. I really hate it. I hate what these individuals stand for, and I think they're just such fakes, and just they absolutely disgust me. And they're all over Hollywood, and they're not all over America. They're in the big cities, and I like going to the big cities. I enjoy going to the big cities. I used to, but I don't enjoy what's been done to them. All the social squalor and the barbarity. It just makes it unpleasant. And I'm just, I'm rather disgusted with a lot of people. I mean, just, a lot of my fellow Americans. And you look on Twitter, we don't get along. And I wonder if there can be like a kind of a clean break. Like where we have kind of like America could be set up kind of like an EU kind of thing, where, we just kind of break off into separate sections of the country where they have theirs and the conservatives have theirs. I have problems with the conservatives, particularly being an atheist, but I have far bigger problems with the left. There are things I don't like about the right, but man, I hate the left. I think they are just awful people. Yes, California hates me. That's fine. Much of California would never agree with me. And you know what? There are very loud, very aggressive people that if they knew some of my thoughts would absolutely despise and hate me. But I don't. I mean, to me, it's like I just like you as well. But you have to allow me certain rights. I mean, I'm entitled to equal protection under the law. People with opinions you don't like, and even people with opinions that you hate, are entitled to equal protection under the law. Oh, look at that woman! I really despise her.
Is that
I've been tweeting to people. I've been so angry, Joe. I've been tweeting to people a lot of.
Sounded like you really wanted this picture everywhere.
Yes, I did. I'm so angry. I'm so angry at the left right now. I'm furious.
We still have people here listening, dude. Don't fall asleep yet.
I'm not falling asleep.
No, you're doing fine. I'm talking about the listeners. Don't fall asleep. Call in if you want. We can take a call.
Call in and say where I'm wrong. I'd like some intellectual. I'd like a little bit of intellectual. I think we're going to be doing more shows right now because Joe and I, we're both stuck in here in the coronavirus.
Yeah. What else are we going to do? I mean, we have work to do, you and I.
Yeah. I'm going to try to fast tomorrow really bad. So I think I'm going to get up in the morning if, we can
have work to do. All right. We are now a nonprofit organization, and we want to make people aware of where we're coming from, and that's going to mean that people are going to have to see your point of view and our point of view. They don't necessarily have to agree with it, but they have to be willing to stand up and share with other people. And for us to have any sort of level of, completing any mission that we want to complete. And that's what we're after. We're after having a bunch of different people with different ideas, opening the board. I feel right now that people are there's just so much information available to us. It's real hard to get anybody who agrees with, more than one or two ideas. Once they start talking, you realize quickly, oh, wow, okay, this person likes so-and-so, or this person likes so-and-so. And suddenly this person that I was fully in alignment and agreeing with, suddenly I'm at odds with this person now that they've got all these other kind of views that I don't agree with. So, this is common. This has been happening to me a lot lately. And I want our place to be a place where all those ideas can be heard and talked through, and maybe an assertive stamp on the whole process, just to hope different parties can join together, discuss their ideas, and walk away happy people.
Well, you know what? Let's have a day of brutal, hardcore, brutal honesty.
Yes.
A day that just smashes like right to the gut. And just a day of just gut smashing. Like, you're going to, hey, today we're all going to say what's on our minds. We're going to listen to things we don't want to hear. And it's going to be tough for all of us because we don't get along. Let's just be honest. And what did Andy Bowen just say?
I just saw
MM Stealth pick a book. Yeah.
I'm not sure where he wiped the booger, though.
You are a liar, Andy, but that's fine. You can be a liar. You're allowed to be.
Nice try, Bowen. Nice try.
Not this time, Mordecai.
Debbie's fixing to call in. Don't worry.
Call in, Debbie. Tell me where I'm wrong. But just remember, the North won the war. Not the South, the North. All right. So she's not going to call in soon. I'm going to go over my tweets here, and that's really going to bore the goddamn audience.
Oh, is it tweeter time?
Is it Twitter time? Are you looking at my tweets here?
Yeah. Is there anyone to go to? Oh, by the way,
I should know one of Joe Biden.
If you want a very good read, go to the Yelp of what's the steakhouse near you're in your city there? Go to Gino Petrelli's Steakhouse, Brian, and it is it's a great thing. I'm gonna go to it here.
Now, okay.
I just want to show you this pretty good. What is it called again? Gino Petrelli's, George Petrelli.
Yeah, George. There it is, George Petrelli's.
This is amazing stuff here. And you go down to the reviews, and you kind of want to avoid these 5 stars, but you go to this one's a 2-star. There's good and bad news here. Blah blah blah. Some of these have some amazing stories.
Miss Petrelli, how about Miss Petrelli greeted me at the door? She's quite good at it. When I tried to show her the pictures, and she became immediately combative.
I think that she thought that I wasn't going to eat there, and told me that she would give all this information to their accountants and they would deal with it without going into any detail as to how they were going to deal with it. Then I asked, then she asked if I was going to eat. And when I said yes, her attitude seemed to change and said that they would deduct it from my check. So I had the ribeye and the carrot. The cake was excellent. The ribeye was okay for the price, but for the price and the fact that the steaks were famous, they really weren't worth it. What happened next is where my opinion of Petrelli's goes into the dumper. When they brought the check back, it was extremely difficult to understand. There was garbled handwriting, and let's see. Finally, I filled out. It was just before I arrived. Okay. About 5 minutes later, Miss Petrelli came to my table. It's hard to know what her purpose was. She seemed to be making the case that I should ignore the $3.03 error that they made. She complained that when I card for 75 cents, I asked what does that have to do with this? At which point she erupted, saying, I don't have to worry about money, and stomped off.
Now, this woman is like, I was going to
There's many more, though.
we have had our run-ins with her. She is a bit pushy. One of the things she's always complaining about is not enough good help nowadays. Now that the recession's here, there'll be plenty of good help. But Joe, could you imagine working for
poor customer service? An older lady answered the phone and handled the call in such a rude manner that it left me in shock. The lady even called me back to make a threat, which is absurd.
Listen.
What did she threaten her with?
My Uncle Louis is on the police force, and you want to get whacked? I bet you could go. I could see her going, I know people.
The lady pit boss is surrounded in a fortress of tchotchkes and rude New York sass, not the endearing kind. And I actually found myself wanting to drink despite being 14 years without sipping from a bottle. This lady almost made this sober man drink.
Yeah.
Oh,
go and drink. I'll tell you the one thing. She said, a woman just went into our restaurant bathroom and she was bathing in the toilet. Anyway, I can never get enough of that woman. That woman is amazing. And you know what, Debbie, we would have taken, if you'd have shown up with there, Joe, you and I would have taken a picture.
Debbie fucked up. She could have enjoyed
the
ambiance of Petrelli's and had a conversation with this woman who is.
Oh yes, we would have invited her to our table and filmed it, maybe.
It's the ultimate dining experience.
And then maybe up to her hotel, maybe up to Debbie's hotel room for a foursome at the end of the night.
The old lady hostess was rude, and yes, I do understand and speak fluent English. As pricey as this joint is, the food was okay. I'll never dine there again.
And one of them says,
There's a comment from Marie P. of Petrelli Steakhouse. Calling the hostess the old lady is pretty darn rude on your part. Her name is Miss Petrelli. They actually got a response from my management. Wow.
These are amazing.
It's a great thing.
She's a lively lady, and the steaks aren't bad there, but she is.
They are good steaks. I don't care what these people say. Most of the reviews are good there. So
yeah. She is a little bit forceful, and let me, she reminds me, like an old nun that I used to, just really old school, strict, and sometimes not the.
Debbie's telling me to read this one. This is another 1-star here. It's very long. Oh my God, this guy wrote a book.
What are you trying to do? Gone with the Wind?
Wow, this looks really complex.
Get to the point where it's the Gettysburg Address. Oh my God. But I was in the nick of time, Nick. But I was nicknamed Jeff by my dad because.
Okay, this is bizarre. This looks like the weirdest comment ever. I can't get into that one.
Is there anything? Your 90th celebration to come may only be you and what's left. Is there something? Did someone die there? A 90-year-old?
Oh, it's are so long. Do not go to this place. I wouldn't even give it a 1 star. I had to place a takeout order in person, as they will not take an order over the phone. That was the least of the problems. There's an elderly lady who greets you at the door, and I also think she's the owner. She was nice at first and took my takeout order. I have asked for my prime rib to be cooked medium, and when I arrived home, it was blood rare. I lived 30 miles away, so I called her, and she requested that I come all the way back so she could correct the order, which now is 8:30. They close at 9:30. By this time, I've lost my appetite. I was too upset. I requested a refund, and she told me her credit card machine, owned by Heartland Company, doesn't accept credit card refunds, which I never heard of such a thing. Come on, she made that up. Finally, she said I will try it anyway, after getting upset with me because of my request for a refund. She finally and hesitatingly completed the transaction, but would not give me a copy of the credit card receipt. Why? She said the credit card machine doesn't print one out, nor could she go upstairs to make a copy of it off of her printer in the office.
Oh!
She stated she was too old, tired, and didn't have the key. There was a couple other employees that could have accomplished this task, but she was so stubborn and set in her ways, she was not going to give me a credit card copy of the credit card receipt. Oh God. So yeah, this woman, this would have been a great person for Debbie to have met.
By the way, I think a great show is if you ever got hired as like the manager of Petrelli's and you had to deal with that old woman.
All right. We've got a phone call. Good evening. You're talking to Brian and Joe. Who is this caller?
First time, long time.
Yeah.
What's up, Debbie?
This is the old lady that works at Petrelli's.
Yes. Did you meet her?
No, I didn't meet her.
You could have met her together, but you didn't want to.
The food doesn't look that great. Those mashed potatoes look like instant potatoes.
I'll tell you, look, you're in Texas, so steak is probably a lot better there.
It's good. We've been there many times. We've never had an issue with the food.
Yeah. Mind you.
We have our own private little booth.
Yeah.
But we'd invite that old lady there because I think it would be great.
Man, I can't believe these people are trashing it that hard. That's horrible.
Yeah, those are the nicer ones. There's literally 15 pages of those stories, and some of them are really funny. I'll have to go through and find some of the better ones. Tired?
And then wait a minute.
Jeez.
What did they say back right here? It says, you picked up your order at 5:54 p.m. and returned it at 9:15 p.m. You ordered garlic bread and prime
medium.
I don't see it.
She's saying that he's saying that he ordered it medium. He got it rare, like very like blood rare.
But I mean, are you kidding me? People are that small mind. Okay, here we go. It says
this is management's response.
Medium. Whoa. You received. I don't see it. It's rolling too much for me to read.
No, I can see it. You received the prime rib medium, but apparently you thought the au jus was poured on top of the prime rib to be blood from the meat. Wow. So the management's calling him out on this. Even though you did eat the garlic bread, we did give you a complete refund along with the prime rib. You were immediately given a complete refund and a copy. Why you wanted 2 copies is on you. Hard work, dedication, and wonderful loyal customers have kept us in business for 89 years. I tend to agree. You know, a place doesn't stay around for 90 years. It just doesn't. And
no.
Not in LA. And so they're all gone. There's only a handful of restaurants that old. And so
was that the restaurant we were going to go to over off of Culver Parkway or whatever it's called, Culver
Yes.
Highway or something?
yes, it was only a few miles from the airport.
I know. I was all ready to go.
Damn you. Damn
Yeah,
you.
and then you flaked.
I did flake, I guess. I'm sorry.
Well, we're going to come down to Texas. When is this thing going to blow over?
Better steaks in Texas anyways, so
Hell yeah.
but the waitresses.
When the hell is this thing going to blow over, Debbie? What's going on? Like, how are things in Texas?
Why aren't you isn't part of your area there on lockdown? Are you on lockdown?
Yeah, Dallas County. We're not supposed to be.
yeah.
We can't. There's nobody out on the streets right now. Nobody.
Nobody, huh?
No. If you go out on the streets right now, they're going to pull you over.
Oh no.
Like, even if you go walking?
I don't think if you go walking, they may, but I don't think so.
But they don't want you traveling, is what you're saying.
No, there's nobody out there right now. I live right by a very busy
Holy
boulevard.
moly.
It's quiet as a mouse.
Holy moly. So we are in a serious situation as far as lockdowns. I mean, this is very concerning. And I like being at home. I like podcasting and stuff, but I also like going wherever the heck I want. And so that's right now it's kind of interesting.
I think it's a denial of our constitutional rights.
This is a virus, and we haven't look. I don't think we've been a constitutional government in a long time. I mean, rent control.
Well, I have a feeling all of this is it's a global reset, and my views differ from everybody's. I'm just saying that this looks like, to me, what could be the start of the New World Order, or the first time where it's right in our face. It's a New World Order where people are ordered to stay away from each other, where we're not able to gather, we're in large groups. It's just it's kind of the Orwellian thing. We've heard a million times, and I don't think it's anything to freak out about yet, but I think it's that people should realize what's happening.
I didn't know that John Adams, who wrote the Constitution, who penned the Constitution, actually passed a law that said if you insult John Adams out in public, you go to jail. Think about that for a second. Let that sink in.
Hey, he didn't want to be insulted. I know that old Italian lady would love a law like that about her. Like, you insult me, you go to jail.
Well, what could come out of this?
You're going to get a spanking, a young man.
Could be looking at the rewriting of a whole new constitution, is what I'm saying. This could be the start of a rollout for these sort of ideas.
I think that what's going on is a travesty for this country. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, you think about, flying in an airplane is dangerous. Should they outlaw flying in airplanes? The flu kills more people every year than, why don't they outlaw cigarettes? You know how many people die from lung cancer and heart disease that is caused by cigarette smoking? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, I don't know anybody with this virus. I don't know that anybody, there's no way to get tested for it. There's no tests for it anywhere. It's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't trust what the mainstream media says. I don't trust the government. So what are you going to do?
So
there's people I know that are losing their jobs. There's companies folding over this.
Brian, yesterday Debbie told you to sell. Hopefully you didn't go to your
Don't
stockbroker and sell. Today, what kind of day? What was your day in the stock market? Was it all green, Brian?
Yeah,
it was all green. And Andy Bowen says, Bill just passed just now. Time to invest. So might be a good time to get, if you have the change laying around, to rearrange your investments and see what happens. Tomorrow could be a really, really good day, investor wise. I'm curious. It seems like business is really kind of like picking up, but there is no business. I don't know what to make of it. It's bizarre. I'm still on the clock tomorrow somehow. I don't know how, but I'm not going to complain about that. I'm just saying it's bizarre that things are moving. There are deals being made. I'm getting, large government agencies are very active right now as far as reformatting and rearranging how they do business. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see in the future, but you can be sure that things are very active right now.
I don't think the country can ever come back from something like this. I don't think it's going to.
I think that's going to be a real interesting.
I disagree with you, Debbie.
Yeah, things are going to come back to, we're going to be able to go to work, and we're going to be able to go to everyone that we wanted to go visit. We go hang out, and we could travel, and we get out of town, and all that stuff's going to be happening. But what in the world has been reshaped? What has been restructured? What deals were made? These are all things that in years to come, we're going to have these, it's going to dawn on us what's gone on. What happened? Did we all of a sudden become super socialist? What's going on?
Who knows?
Other people calling in and telling us what they see. No, I mean, and you are, Debbie, yours is an interesting one in Texas. I'm always curious about Texas. There, like, people are home, obviously, but are you talking to any of your neighbors somehow? Or you communicating with other people in your area? Or are you just mostly communicating with, your online associations?
No, I'm hanging out with people in real life. I can't believe that my fucking Bitcoin, it's called
Ethereum.
Yeah, it dropped down to $57.52.
From what was it? It was pretty high before, right?
$82 is what it was recently.
Yeah, but just write it out, because there's going to be, who knows what kind of things are going to be in the bills. I have a feeling things like medical marijuana. I think we're going to be seeing like all these shifts from education to gun regulation. And I don't know what to make of it. We're going to look back and probably have to figure it out after the fact.
Heather and Philip just bought a 2019 a brand new vehicle.
Wow.
And now Philip lost his job over this bullshit.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the bills.
That's what I'm talking about. It's stupid.
I wonder, like, for car payment, like my phone bill just went through. That's fine. I use my phone. It's still active. But I don't know, like, I don't have a car payment, but if I did, I'm wondering if my car payment would be due at the end of the month. Do you know if Steven has to pay his
Yeah, of course he does. It's due. They have to have it. I mean, think about it.
But I mean, they're not working with people in that respect, I guess not.
Well, Philip put $22,000 down on a vehicle, so I don't think his payment's that much, but Steven's payment is more than that. But I don't think so.
So people are going to be, the bill was signed, so people are going to have money, right? They're going to be sending us checks for whatever what was the amount, Andy Bowen? Did they give us an amount? 1,200 or something? You got, how many dependents do you got over there, Debbie? Just you, Victor's your only dependent. No, kidding.
Exactly.
Just you, Victor.
That's it.
Oh no, that's it, huh?
Yeah, that's it. What are they going to do? Just randomly send us money for nothing, or what?
It's the craziest thing ever. But Debbie, I highly recommend when you get that check, there's probably going to be some fine print. I would understand the fine print, just so you know what's being done. Like, what's this transaction about? Why is the government, they want us to fully depend on them. If we're not going to be able to get up tomorrow and go to work, What are we going to do? If we can't go to the market and get all the foods that we eat, what are we going to do? And I think the government is really making a point here that it could come to a situation where a lot of people are going to be relying on these sorts of things. I don't want to be one of them, but if they're giving people a check, what exactly what are we signing ourselves into? Or is it just a check?
I really don't believe that anybody wants people to be. I don't believe that there's anybody behind the door. I used to, because my father used to kind of believe that. I personally think people make decisions. I think there are things that are real. And, I mean, the handling of them, not necessarily the best. And our news media kind of failed us to see this thing a long time ago. And just on a lot of ends here, it's kind of sad. And it's,
Airlines is close to bankruptcy right now over this bullshit. Nobody's flying. And they just spent $4.2 billion on some 787s they bought from Boeing.
Oh, man.
What happened to you? Are you yawning?
My stomach's starting to hurt. I have to go,
Oh, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I think I might upchuck.
Oh, awesome.
You okay, babe?
Do it on the air.
You want to go outside and get some fresh air?
I don't know.
Are you hot?
I'm not feeling too well.
Maybe that. Here we go. Senate, White House reached $2 trillion stimulus deal to blunt coronavirus fallout. Senate leaders and Trump administration, I'm not going to read all of this, reached an agreement early Wednesday on a $2 trillion package to rescue the economy from the coronavirus assault, potentially setting the stage for swift passage of the massive legislation through both chambers of commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. We have a deal.
I think I'm going to see if I can get an antacid. Man, I think I'm going to throw up.
Just breathe.
You have some baking soda? Get some fresh air.
Just
Put
breathe.
something cold on your neck. Do you have like some frozen peas in your ice box in your refrigerator?
Anyway.
It's okay. We're here with you. Don't worry about it. JP.
Should I?
Could you get over to Brian's if you had to, Miss JP?
Have to get over to me.
No. If he's vomiting, that's a sign that a doctor needs to. Now, if you need a ride, call Uber and no.
Oh fuck!
Should I end it, Brian? Are you done?
I'm done. Man, I gotta take care of myself, so I'm done.
We can all see that water right behind you. You should reach back there and grab that thing and suck it down.
Just remember, when you start feeling like you're kind of hot and bothered, get cold. Do something. Put something cold on your neck. Get some air.
Yeah, man. Hey, feel better. Everybody, thank you for listening to Transparency and Merit. Brian's gonna puke, and maybe I'll do a late show.
Yeah.
Yes.